who isn't. Maybe I'm telling myself that.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Good evening. My name is Jamie Brunson. I have the privilege of being the Executive Director of First Person Arts. We have worked 10 years with the Department of Behavioral Health on the Engaging Males of Color initiative, along with our cherished partner, Chad Dion Lassiter, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Commission on Human Relations and National Race Expert. I want to welcome you all to Reclaiming Love, Brotherhood, Community, and just say to you, this is going to be an incredibly powerful evening of stories from males of color who are reclaiming love in their lives despite the struggles. And we will see tonight their incredible resilience. I stand before you representing one such man. His name was Julius Logan, my grandfather, who told me I belonged in the world, not because it was welcoming, not because it was fair, not because it was always kind, but because he loved me. And that is the power of love from a male of color. And so I stand before you today welcoming these storytellers this evening who exhibit that very same powerful love and strength. And we welcome you all. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Pam McClinton, who will come up and make remarks on behalf of the Department of Behavioral Health.
Thank you, Jamie. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services, Interim Commissioner Dr. Marquita Williams, its Division of Innovation and Planning, the Chief of Innovation and Effectiveness, Anthony McLaughlin, and myself, welcome to tonight's performance of Beyond Expectation, Reclaiming Love of Self, Brotherhood, and Community. I'm Pamela McClinton, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a proud Native Black American woman. I'm the descendant of courageous and resilient Africans enslaved here in America. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a practicing clinician with over 40 years of professional experience, and I'm also someone who's thriving with neurodiversity. I'm dyslexic, and I'm the Senior Director of Clinical Quality for the Management of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services, also known as DBHIDS. I want to extend a resounding thank you to our invaluable partners, the First Person Arts team, led by Ms. Jamie Brunson, David Acosta, our director, Chad Lassiter, our moderator, the EMOC committee members, the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion team, the department's Community Outreach and Engagement Unit, the Peer Inclusion and Culture Unit, our Communications Department, and our Research Unit. As well tonight, I want to also thank the incredible storytellers that you're about to hear, and I want to acknowledge our DEI Community Engagement Manager, Gabriel Bryant, and our Males of Color Community Engagement Specialist, Octavius Blount, for their leadership of the Engaging Males of Color initiative at DBHIDS, as well as their vision, dedication, and determination. And it takes great determination to do the work that they're doing for the city of Philadelphia. Beyond Expectation is the flagship program for the DBHIDS Engaging Males of Color initiative. It provides a safe and supportive space for males of color to share their unique and compelling stories, promoting mental and emotional wellness while helping to break the stigma surrounding mental health. Tonight, we're excited to have storytellers share their stories of love. The past 3 years have been difficult for many of us, but we know that love is the key component in our journey of recovery and hope. While with love, we can overcome and thrive together. Before I end, let me just go over a few housekeeping rules, or housekeeping items. They're not really rules. Okay. Please, 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 everyone, please take the survey after tonight's event. The survey is critical because it informs the EMOC initiative's work. So we continue to do this great work because what you have to say is what we're listening to. Okay? And let's keep tonight's momentum and synergy going. Join the EMOC Brother Stroll this Saturday from 9 to noon in beautiful Mount Airy on the grounds of Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Check out the resource table after tonight's event for more information about that event. And we really want you to come and join us. Once again, we would like to thank our storytellers for their honesty, vulnerability, and thorough preparation. And we thank you and hope that this evening's program inspires you. So everybody, enjoy.
Peep the populace in piss-colored binoculars, looking for salvation in destinations that's not in us. See, there's this not in us keeping us tied. Confused context, blue contacts on third eyes. Now enter this new game with new rituals and new slang. We're a whole new thing. We the spiritual Wu-Tang. This is the wordplay of Eladumare. Storytellers with them elder dudes convey. This is the Yemi-Yas and the Mini-Mas next snapping in tune with the old Shun. This is from the youngest to the OG to the OD to the old goon. This heaven and earth giving birth to celestial bodies in the dirt. This for the daughters of the dust. This for the sons of the hurt. We neo-griots with POs. Spit metaphysics while taking a piss test. The goddess all set stripping in fishnet. Messed over by the world, but haven't been kissed yet. It's kismet, how we met at the cipher, became enlighteners and black Pied Pipers, Orishas in three-stripe sneakers, keeping the street, hoping the conscious speak reacher. Now pardon we if we don't speak too properly, we trying to reach the zombie mommies, keeping it popping in the party. This content's for common folks sipping coke with their Bacardi, who chill with their Lauryn Hill but still turn up to their Cardi. Some in ghetto vicinities reminding niggas of their divinity to the nigga they pretend to be, finding way about their tendencies. See how we've been depicted's been scripted, so I'm writing us some remedies. This pen's kin and rock kin and them, hope you're checking out these melodies. Cause in the world, that defines men of color by limitations, not potential. We're going back to the essentials, release the God that speaks within you. This evening is a radical act of truth-telling, healing, and reclamation. This is a community communication. This is a reframing of a nation. This is an act of love. So instead of shaming your brother, you might want to exchange a hug. Because this is our final destination, our reclaiming, our love.
(1871). Li Fong opens a laundry, the first business in Chinatown. Fast forward to today, a walk through Chinatown tickles the senses. The whiff of Cantonese, Hunan, Szechuan aroma emanating from the restaurants. Seeing the grandmothers picking the vegetables from the backyard gardens for dinner. The elders. Some aren't so lucky that they don't have back gardens in Chinatown. I see the roast ducks hanging in the windows. Roast duck wonton rice noodle soup. That hot broth burning my tongue. That separates the best from the rest. I stroll through Chinatown, looking at the homes. I'm a young boy, trying to remember where my friends lived. Is that where the Moys lived? It's hard to remember because so much transition has happened in Chinatown. But these childhood memories. Bang, bang, shouts. Stop the bulldozers. Stop the bulldozers. Homes, not highways. What's that I see? A procession coming. Is that Uncle Sam in red, white, and blue? But the number is 1966. Uncle Sam saying, move out. Your homes are gone. Residents move out. The highway's coming. Vine Street's coming. 12-lane highway, 55-mile-an-hour speed limits. It's going to be hard to cross the street now. And then behind Uncle Sam, there's these fat cats with fat cigars, money pouring out of the pockets. The convention center is coming. We're going to block Chinatown on the west side. Oh, did we tell you? The SEPTA commuter rail tunnel is going to be built on the east side of Chinatown. We're going to block the east side of Chinatown. Oh, by the way, the Gallery Mall's coming. So we got you boxed in. West, south, east, north. Chinatown's boxed in. But there's more behind that procession. It's the Foxwood Casino guys with the slot machines. Shoo, scram, get out of here. We don't want you. Oh, there it goes again. Uncle Sam's back. No, Uncle Sam, we don't want the prison next to our elementary school. You get out of here. Huh. The Greyhound bus station sneaked into Chinatown. We're too busy. And who's back there? Who are those people, the red caps, the red uniforms? It's the Phillies. No, Phillies, we don't want you in Chinatown either. Go back to South Philadelphia. And who's that Johnny come lately? Who are they? Can't tell. Oh, it's the arena people. Didn't you hear? All those other projects that didn't work in Chinatown? What is this? Is this your basketball? Go back to South Philadelphia and get your basketball. We built Chinatown. We built the churches. We built the homes. We built the schools. We built everything in Chinatown. We created the value in Chinatown. Get off our backs. This is our community, our home. Chinatown's a gateway for new immigrants. It's a sanctuary. My father, William Chin, he was an immigrant to Philadelphia. He worked 16-hour days, 7 days a week. He sacrificed a lot for our family. But I remember one day, he took off from the restaurant a few hours. He called his friend, drove him out to the soccer practice field. In school, we had after-school soccer practice, and I was surprised to see him there. That rarely happened that he could get out of the business. But that was a great, happy day for me, really happy. But happiness turned into embarrassment. He jumped onto the soccer field, shooed away the goalie who was practicing, and played goalie. And the players tried to kick the ball past him, but he blocked most of them. And my embarrassment turned into pride. I was proud that my father spent the time to come see me practice soccer. And he left me with one lesson that I remember today. He said, listen to people, but be respectful. You can't debate ignorance. You can disagree, but don't be disagreeable. Just listen to them and smile. A walk down Chinatown tickles my senses. Whiff of Cantonese, Hunan, Szechuan aroma emanating from the restaurants. Grandmoms picking their vegetables from the backyard gardens. The elders.
Hello. My name is Duiji Mshinda, and I'm going to be telling this story about finding family along the way. We're born into a family, and that family becomes, I guess, the example for the folks that we collect in our lives on our journey. I'm a little nervous, and I'm saying that. And this is the real deal right now. Once upon a time, I lost my mind. They call it bipolar disorder, psychotic features. And this was sparked by like confusion, heartache, and mostly doing too much. And when it crescendoed, I guess, I was behind the wheel of a 1983 Aries K car that the voices in my head told me I could make fly. I believed them. The Derby police didn't believe them. I, of course, ignored their urges for me to pull over. And when they finally did get me to stop, they beat me like cops beat folks that look like me, ignoring the rules. That led me to a stay at Mercy Fitzgerald. I don't think they do crisis there anymore. That's a whole different story. Anywho, my mother, Loretta Garcia, rest in peace, she used to read with me when I was younger, and she introduced me to Langston Hughes. And he has this piece called Mother to Son. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. And as I've been, climbing those steps myself, I find myself out of sorts again. Several years later, it's 2005, and I wasn't in Philadelphia this time, like most of the other times when I got either 302 or 201 or whatever. This time I'm in Berks County, and the racism hits different in Berks County. So I was incarcerated. And during that period of incarceration, I met a brother named Grasshopper. And how did I make a brother in jail? He shared his commissary with me. Something as simple as an M&M peanut. Generosity is not common, in jail. So that was, I guess, a positive experience in a very challenging place. One of the things that helped me get through that time in that challenging place is letters from my friend Adrian. My friend Adrian Lowe, queer white man, used to keep money on my books, made sure other people wrote me. And this was really, really a big deal because just before I got to jail, I was cutting up in Philly, and Adrian's house was one of the places I was cutting up. So folks that ride with you after you cut up, those are special folks. Before I came home, all the way home, I stopped at Wernersville State Hospital. I was found not guilty by reason of insanity. And they came and saw me there too. And they made sure I had a place to stay when I came home. And they wouldn't let me pay rent until I got my Social Security turned on. And their partner gave me a ride to get my first turntable back in 2008. That's later in the story. Another brother I found along the way, Daniel Hunter. I had another period of decompensation. That's what they call it, the period of decompensation. They don't call it losing your mind. They don't call it losing your marbles. They don't call it being shot out. They say decompensation. They make it sound real nice, like things just fell apart. During one of the times when things were falling apart, Brother Daniel Hunter arranged an intervention. And I walked in my apartment, there was like 5, 6, 7, 8 folks waiting for me to fall asleep, because when I'm on Mars, sleep don't come easy. So they was waiting for me to fall asleep so they could call the police. And we don't call the police, not on each other, not on other folks. It's an activist, this is a black man, but he went against his own principles because I needed help, because he didn't want me to become a Walter Wallace before Walter Wallace. This guy, he helped him and Clarissa Rogers, rest in peace. There used to be a spot called the A Space on Baltimore Avenue. They did a rap workshop and made me go. And I'm so glad I did, because my wellness toolbox is heavy right now. Going forward in the story, we're going to come back to 2008, because it's a brother sitting here named Rashid Zakat. Who thought you could find family on Craigslist? I wanted to buy a turntable, and he was selling a turntable. And I went and bought the turntable in South Philly, and here we are 17 years later. This guy, photographer, connector of first order, filmographer, editor, on and on and on, but mostly just a good friend. Somebody who, remember 21, 20, when we was masking up to talk on a porch with each other? We'd be on the porch for 45 minutes talking because we needed that. And because of how life goes, we just put a mini doc together that's going to be premiering at World Cafe Live in 2 days. It's about Vinyl Tap 215, community of DJs that I helped build, and it's special. It's so much love. So yeah, the family that we find, we hold on to them. We never know what things will come in the future. Another good brother, John Morrison. I'm probably out of order, but that's okay. We used to DJ at Dialogue together. This party called Sophistafunk. Sophistafunk was the jam. It was so hot in there, the walls would sweat. I mean, folks left their underclothes on the walls sometimes. It was that free and that safe of a space where, like, her underclothes was there when she came back. And Brother John, he was my doula. When my daughter was born, he was in the room when she was born. And when she wasn't breathing right away, I was beside myself. And he held me. And he said, it's going to be okay. And it was. She's up there somewhere. Probably the fourth row. Just turned 11. Got a 93 on her report card in English. We was doing homework this year. This 5th grade was rough. Family that we find. Family that we build. Moving forward, we got Paul Best. Paul Best, he is aptly named because he is trying to be his best version of himself every day. He's doing his ancestors' work. He's a teacher. He's a mentor. He's an innovator. He's a great listener. He's a good travel partner. We drove to Vermont together. And most of all, you know how sometimes you call people, you want to talk about something? But most of the time, when I call Paul, I usually have something to learn. We were on a Zoom one time, and he was talking about Lift As We Climb, Ella Baker. And I was like, Ella Baker, who's that? He said, oh, you got homework. So that same week, ordered a book from Amazon, read it with my daughter at bedtime. And I was like, oh, Lift As We Climb. If you haven't heard of Ella Baker, she's more of the bottom-up type of organizer, not a top-down organizer. She said, strong people don't need strong leaders. She was counter to the king type of, at the pulpit, talk down to people. She was really bottom up. All this to say that in all the places that I've been, that I found family, that I built community, I'm just really grateful. And thank you for taking this walk down memory lane with me. All right, peace.
To the village. James Baldwin once said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. And today I choose to face myself with you. I'm standing here not just as a 32-year-old black man, but as someone who is ready to tell you the truth about things that I've kept sealed. Every day I carry more than keys, a wallet. I carry memories, expectations, and fears. We all do. We witness the truth every day. Black men and boys are dying. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, it's silent. Some fall from bullets, some fall from systems. Many of us are still dying while we're breathing. We carry an invisible weight on our shoulders, in our silence, and in our spirits. I've been holding a pain I rarely speak about. It's not just the world wounds that I carry, it's my own. I've hated myself. I hated myself for being silent, for believing I wasn't enough. The pressure to prove, protect, and produce is relentless. When I think I fall short, I turn inward blame. But beneath that self-criticism lies something deeper, fear. Yes, I'm scared. Scared that if I show up fully, loud, proud, and whole, it might cost me everything. History tells us this fear isn't irrational. Fred Hampton, Dr. King, Malcolm X. They loved loudly, and they were taken. And now I'm their age, asking myself, can I afford to be visible? Can I afford not to be? This is the mental math I have to do every day. I wanted to rise, but I feared to fall. I walked around with a hole in my heart. And then something shifted. On my birthday, my wife gave me flowers. 12 of them. It stunned me, not because of the flowers, but the realization that I never felt worthy of something so beautiful. And in that quiet moment, I heard a voice that I've kept buried for so long. It was my inner black boy. And he whispered to me, you deserve beauty, not for what you do, but for who you are. That moment cracked me open. And it made me wonder, what if more of us had more moments like that? What if black men were allowed to feel, to cry, to rest, to receive love, not just as a reward, but simply because we exist? I've built walls around myself for protection, but those same walls have kept me from joy, tenderness, and connection. This is why I wrote this. To my brothers, we don't need more isolation. We don't need no more competition. We need more collaboration and brotherhood. We've been trained to compete, but we were born to complete one another. So let's move from suspicion to support, from side eyes to affirmations. From I got this to we got this. Let's become the village we've always needed. A place where we can breathe, heal, and rise. Not just for survival, not just for justice, but for joy, for legacy, and for each other. To my wife, thank you for seeing me when I couldn't see myself. For offering me beauty when I thought I had to earn it. Your love cracked me open, and in that crack, I found the light. You gave my inner black boy permission to go home. You reminded me that I am lovable. Not someday, not after I prove myself, but right now. I'm forever grateful for your roses, your patience, and your love. Once again, James Baldwin reminded us, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Today I face me, and I stand with you. If we faced ourselves together, how much could we heal, build, and become? Thank you.
When I was asked to share my reclaiming story, I remembered how I kept falling in and out of it. And well, this is the only way I knew how to express it. I was born in it, raised on 178th Street and Amsterdam Avenue in Washington Heights, New York, surrounded by black and brown Dominicanos, people that look like me. I fell in it when my father introduced me to baseball and my 6th grade teacher introduced me to architecture. I fell out of it when I was told, Jovanny, no one that looks like you, talks like you, or lives anywhere near this area is an architect. So what makes you think you could become one? Maybe a baseball player, but not for the MLBs, Papa. I fell out of it because I started to believe them, and I began to lose hope in my dream of one day being a major league player and owning my own architecture firm. Then I fell in it. When my father pulled me aside and said, hey, Yoba, don't listen to them. You are my son. And if you work hard, you could do anything. I fell in it. When I sold empanadas on the street with him to make a living, I was the announcer that said, té de jengibre para los dolores de cabeza. That means ginger tea for those bad headaches. Then I fell out of it when me and my family were ridiculed for it. I fell in it though when ambition turned into discipline and determination. And my mom used to pull me aside and say things like, Papa, you are smart. And my dad used to tell me things like, I'm proud of you. You are priceless. Only God can know your worth. I fell in it with baseball trophies and championships and awards and medals and scholarships. Then I fell out of it with a brutal choice: baseball or architecture. Yeah, man, I fell out of it with architecture professors having these result-based grading systems that were foreign to me. Yeah, I fell out of it because I realized I was one of 3 minorities in the entire school's architecture program. Then I fell back in it when I joined my school's Latin dance team, Esencia Latina, where I got to stay mentally and emotionally workable during college. I fell back in it with those long-lasting relationships in my life of people that choose me just as I am. I hated it when my father had a baby girl with an unknown woman at the age of 59 because I made it mean his image of being a great father is now broken. I hated it because I was the one that had to stay around to keep my family together. I learned it unconditionally when my son was born. I hated it and anger replaced it when my father passed away from a heart attack just 1 year after that. I hated it and anger replaced it because I didn't get to hear what he wanted to tell me the night before he passed. I hated it and anger replacement when I realized I lost future moments with him. I hated and anger replaced it when I was told, go to therapy before you ruin your life. I began to accept a new version of it when I finally went to therapy. I began to accept a new version of it when I stopped, then went back to therapy, and discovered that getting back to normal is accepting a new normal. I hated it and was obligated to accept that 9 months after my father passed, I passed my architectural registration exams. And he wasn't there to see it. I'm now an architect without him. After all that, I did it. I own my own architecture firm. I achieved my dream. Today I have it. I have love. And some tools to bring it back to me whenever I fall out of it. I hate to have it just to fall out of it and fall back in it. And I love to learn it. Learn it unconditionally. Recreate it. And finally reclaim it. Over and over and over and over again.
A lot of people know me from radio and TV, but this story really isn't about media per se. It's about an uncommon sport, golf, that helped me reconnect with myself and the men I call my brothers. I knew exactly what I wanted to do since I was 12 years old. My mom and dad bought me and my sister JVC 13-inch TVs, one for her room, one for my room. We were balling, right? So I used to sneak and watch TV. And one night I'm up and I see this guy and he's talking to a rapper. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. And then I sneak again and I watch again. He's talking to a bigger rapper and he's talking to a bigger black star. And I was like, yo, whatever he's doing, that's what I want to do. That was Arsenio Hall. And since 1991, I was locked in. I went to Temple University. I majored in broadcast, telecommunications, and mass media. I snuck backstage of a radio concert, met a radio DJ. I moved to LA, did all of this stuff. And 24 years later, once I first saw Arsenio Hall, I had my own talk show on the same network. Come on, y'all can clap for that. I was killing it, dog. I was killing it, right? And then 5 months in, after the 150th episode, March 27th, 2017 at 8:50 in the morning, my mom passed away. And if you know me and my family, we're super tight. My mom and dad were married for 45 years before she passed. I get my love of music from my dad. I get my passion from my mom. And I was hurt. I was crushed. And for the next 3 years, I faked it. I put my suit on and I would go on TV and I would smile and I didn't want to do it. And I would go on the radio and I would do the same thing. And then 2020 happened and we all felt that. And I was sitting here in a crossroads of my life like, man, do I still want to do this? Do I still want to fake and act like I want to be here and make people laugh and joke? And it was some other like George Floyd things going on. Y'all could read between the lines. And I was like, nah, it's time to go. So I quit in the middle of a global pandemic with 3 sons and a wife and bills and more bills. I quit my job and I started my own marketing/production company. And people thought I was crazy because, no, don't clap for that. People thought I was crazy because it was crazy. It was insane, right? And I get a call and a guy who I, kind of knew, he's like, hey man, you want to come play golf? Now, I don't really know anything about golf. I will tell you this. My mom introduced me to golf. My mom loved golf. Well, she loved Tiger Woods. You know what I'm saying? My mom loved Tiger Woods. Ironically enough, her maiden name was Woods. And she would root for Tiger Woods every weekend as if that was her son. 2013, the US Open came here and I got tickets. And me and my mom spend a day just following Tiger Woods around the Marion golf course. And she was excited. So for me, that was my introduction to golf. Fast forward, this guy, Jonathan Lennox, white guy, lives in Princeton, New Jersey. Hey, why don't you come up and play golf? These people up in this golf course are super rich. Let me break it down to you. I drive a Toyota Camry. I pull in. These guys have Benzes, Beamers, Bentleys. One of the guys, so rich, his family owns a bunch of stuff, and he would fly his helicopter over the golf course. He was 24 years old at the time. This is the kind of money they had. So it was a little intimidating. So I come up, and I see Jonathan and his son, who was 16 at the time, Nicholas, and I was like, ooh, maybe I can connect with my kids when they get older, because y'all know, if y'all know anything about teenagers, they only know one word, right? Hey, how you doing? Fine. I'm hungry. Like, they don't really talk to you. I was like, this is a way I can connect with my kids when they get older. A couple other things Jonathan told me. He said, listen, when you first start playing golf, anybody who starts playing golf, you suck in the beginning. You just got to sit and you got to suck. I was like, all right, cool. He said, the second thing I do, he said, when I play golf, anytime I'm about to do business, I tell somebody to go play golf. I play golf with them. Because he said you can learn a lot about a person by playing golf with them, right? He said you can learn a lot about their character and if they lie and all these different things, right? He said if a person lies about their score in golf, they'll lie about anything, especially in business. So you should stay away from them. So I was like, all right, cool. And at the time, two of my friends, my closest friends, one who I knew since first grade, the other I knew since high school, both lost their fathers in the middle of the pandemic, non-COVID related deaths. So I was like, man, we should go play golf. So we start playing golf, and the crazy thing happened when we start playing golf. We start having intense, deep conversations that we never even had before. About grief, about business. I was frightened because I jumped out of the window and started this business, and talking to my brothers made it feel manageable. And we start playing, we start traveling, we start going to California, start going to Connecticut, we start going to West Palm Beach and playing. And one thing about me, y'all may not know, I'm super competitive and I wanted to beat them. So I'm from Germantown, and being a black man from Germantown or for the inner city, you kind of figure out like, hey, you got it all figured out. And golf is one of those sports you can't fake it. It will humble you, right? So I'll go on social media, I go on Instagram, and I'll say, hey, I'm looking for a golf coach. Somebody's like, hey, why don't you reach out to Lewis Kelly? Lewis Kelly was a golf instructor. He worked at First Tee. First Tee is an organization that helps kids, inner city kids, into the game of golf. So I get with Lewis. He turns me from a terrible golfer to a bad golfer, right? And we start having a connection. He's 15 years younger than me, right? So I meet him and his girlfriend. He marries her. Me and my wife go to his wedding. Him and his wife start babysitting for me. I didn't even know this guy 2 years prior. I'm like, I was acting unusual for myself, right? So he's like, he was a aspiring pro golfer. He's like, hey man, I'm going to this New Jersey State Open, and I would love for you to come. I want you to see me play golf. So we went, me and my friends went, and Lewis actually won the New Jersey State Open. He was the first African American to win the New Jersey State Open. It was crazy. So we're black. It's not a lot of black people on the course. We hugging, we taking pictures. People take pictures of us. We get on a cover of a golf magazine. It was crazy. It's like, I didn't even know about golf beforehand. We out here, we holding the trophy. It was crazy, right? And it was blowing my mind that golf connected me with people that I didn't even know. Now, prior to golf, after 2017, my dad, he and my mother lived in their dream home in East Oak Lane for about 18 to 20 years. And after that, he couldn't stay there. He left, and he escaped, I call it. He moved to south of Dover, Delaware, just enough that his grandkids can't see him on a regular basis, right? So I'm like, Dad, you don't know nobody down there. Why won't you start playing golf? He's like, I don't know. So I go down, I get him some clubs, And we find a local golf course. I'm like, Dad, you need to start playing. So we go and play. We see this older white man around his age. He's like, hey, y'all about to go play? We're like, yeah. He's like, can I play with y'all? I'm like, sure. So we go out, and in 10 minutes, the dude's buying us drinks. We're buying him drinks. We're having a good time. My dad was like, oh my goodness, is golf always like this? I'm like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you, you're hard-headed. That's the only time I could call my dad hard-headed. I'm like, man, you hard-headed, man, right? And this was the first time since my mom passed that we had an amazing time. See, the thing about when my mom passed on March 27, 2017, me and my dad were the only ones there. My sister lives 2 hours away, and when she literally passed, it was just me and him. So this was the first time since that moment that we were actually having a good time and having fun. Another thing about golf you always may hear is deals happen on the golf course. Y'all ever hear that? Deals happen on the golf course? Well, they do. So I have a marketing/production company, and I play golf with a guy, and he's like, hey, what are you doing now? I'm like, man, I got my marketing production company. He's like, man, it's a big company in town that needs your services. I'm like, you're right. They do. I'm like, please. He's like, all right, I'm going to call him. And he called the owner of the company, and I had a deal, one of my biggest deals to date, because I play golf with this guy. And it was crazy. I was like, oh man, this is really true. And the thing that happens on the golf course, it's more like therapy. It's changed my life in a way that I really didn't see. So for me, ironically, my mom introduced me to the game of golf, and she's not here, but now I have a whole community of people. And I want my sons to play, and they reluctantly play, but it's like life. Golf is one of those things, like, you have ups, you have downs, you go through different things, but you have to keep swinging. Thank you.
Can I tell y'all a story? Yeah. I said, can I tell y'all a story? Yeah. All right. So I wrote this story, right? Well, I wrote it, but I didn't write it. All right. So I got a ghostwriter. I have ghostwriters. This is William Alexander Lomax I, affectionately known as Big Billy. Everybody say, hi, Big Billy. Hi, Big Billy. So this is a shout out to my co-author. The reason I write, the bite that turned me from a Peter Parker to this wall crawler. My father, he wrote life in permanent marker. No do-over, just overdo it till he overdosed. Copped and coped till he was comatose, now he's a ghost. My ghostwriter. He gave me this life, I'm just at the typewriter. What are you writing today, Pop? Main character, E, the Poet-Emcee? He's just a stage prop. Now, despite popular opinion, to be a popular poet was never my intention. I just bobbed and weaved what I believe to give his life extension. I'm just unwrapping my gift and watching people grinch into my mention, but see, you don't know my mission or my type of hell. You know the smell of cooked crap? See, you don't know my kitchen. Listen, I'm ascribed to what I survived. I'm the medicine for us to be better men, brother. I'm prescribed. See, this is the way my people pray when put to a cadence. Every applause is God's response saying, nigga, we made it. See, my gift is never having things and turning that to black man magic. My dad couldn't deal with us in the still, which made him a magnet, attracting a habit. See, he believed his high hopes were better achieved with deep dope tracks up under your sleeve. Never one to argue his views, would just say to you, son, it's better you leave. So that's why I'm talking to you. I'm walking in shoes of a dad who never knew his, who barely knew his kids as his kids were having new kids. See, he was a painter. I told him I paint pictures. I spit him a verse, his response was a curse. Motherfucker, that's scripture. How you know God knowing a life so hard? How you battle with a low battery? How your life so charged? I say, Dad, it's the strangest thing. You being a link in my chain and the change you bring. Mere mortal man, but in your hand are wings. Old man, in your DNA strand are kings. So shout out to my co-author. The reason I recite so precise with ancestors in my posture. See, I lean in because there's a lot of mean men in my pen. This the grandson of Elton Knock that pimp bop when I walked in. I'm talking toxic men, so excuse me while I detox and box the box I'm in. I'm talking generations of sin, heroin, and lots of gin. Boozers and drug abusers, this born losers, see, he got to win. See, there's so many phantoms in my opera. I could ghostwrite a seventh life, be chief rocker of the throat chakra. So no, this is not poetry proper. This is a time wrinkle, a sprinkle, a pock, and a bit of Big Papa. So let everybody in here know that your every cadence and flow, your every stanza may stand for a man you have yet to know. Maybe there's some matriarch who's trying to talk through your art. Maybe you talk slicker because our favorite liquor was dark. Now forget what y'all heard, people. We are our ancestors. And for a bit of added pressure, we're the ancestors of future adolescents that got to do battle with their oppressor. So may my son never have to quote this opus, conjure his own hope from his throat from feeling hopeless. May he see the co-author in his father. See me in a message, see my mess, but see father. Because see, on most nights, I recite at a closed mic, wrapped in ancestral fabrics that feel closed tight, eyes closed tight, I sing all of my ghostwriters. So everything that I say, I mean. So let the church say, Ashe. I mean.
Give it up again, please, for our storytellers, y'all. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. So what we're going to do now is a couple things. What you see earlier was mentioned was a QR code for a survey. And if you can, please take out your phones to complete the survey. If your phone, like mine, perhaps doesn't work, all right, we have paper ones as well, so we can have one person on this side, one person on this side. They'll go up. They also have pencils as well. So just raise your hand if your phone, again, by chance does not work, and somebody will come to see you. Tonight really is a powerful night of reclaiming love, self, brotherhood, community. And so what we're going to do in that spirit is we're going to invite for a talk back panel discussion one of our colleagues who was already previously mentioned. He is, as was mentioned earlier, the executive director of the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. He's somebody who's been a good friend of mine. And if we're being honest, if we're talking about self, brotherhood, and community, he has manifested that in so many ways in my life, with that impact of myself, of that brotherhood, and certainly of that community. And he's been doing a yeoman's job of moderating our panel discussions through the years. You know him as well from leading so much work when it comes to racial justice across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So please give it up, y'all, for our moderator, Chad Dion Lassiter.
Let's give it up for these brothers again. Yeah, yeah. We're excited about this talk back because it's very participatory. So we have questions for the panel, and then we come to you all. And it's very structured, it's very, but it's also fluid and it's very organic. And so I just want to catch my breath because those narratives were extremely powerful. There's an African proverb that articulates the lion's story will never be known if the hunter is the one that tells it. And so we're going to leave this space, which for me is a very sacred space, a very important space. And the narratives that you all shared, you bared your souls. And there's something special about being vulnerable, being hyper vulnerable, being sensitive, being hypersensitive, but being genuine and authentic. So just want to say that I'm humbled and honored to be in this space with you all. So this first question is for all of you, and we'll start with my dear brother Q, and then we'll go right down the row. What does the following phrase mean to each of you? And for you, Q, and everyone else, that phrase is as follows: I love you, brother. What does that mean?
It's being honest in your feelings. I feel like a lot of times we don't say that until tragedy hits. And I started going to a new church, Discover Church in Ardmore, and we had a sermon about this maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, and Pastor Mark Poland was just saying, like, it's okay for men to say your real feelings. It's okay to say I love you without it being weird. So for me, it's that phrase means ultimate in tune with your feelings, ultimate sacrifice, that you're putting away this mask, you're putting down the mask, and you're being vulnerable enough to share your real feelings.
Okay, thank you. Jovanny, same question for you.
That's interesting. For me, it shows you trust me. Growing up in New York and that kind of mentality, you know, you don't show vulnerability, right? And I'm usually the one that says it in efforts to reach out and show trust. Whenever someone says it to me, I show, oh, you trust me. All right, good. You picked up what I was laying down.
Brother Octavius.
So I'm in the same boat as Jovanny. I say it first. I got two people here that I say it to. Men, them two right there. Jared and Steve. But to answer the question, I think it's a lifeline. Mainly because it allows you to be open and vulnerable. When I say lifeline, I hear myself saying, I see you, I love you, and I want to connect with you, so my door's open.
Doji, before you go, man, your story was powerful. All the stories are powerful. There's no hierarchy here. But I feel like I'm super blessed because to the left, I feel your positive energy. To the right, I've worked with Octavius for the past 3 years, but just what you displayed. I'm 52. So when you say you 32, you got the wisdom of 52, 62, man. But the same question for you.
He said I'm old.
No, in wisdom years. In wisdom
so-
years, right? I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's hello and goodbye to me. Like we say I love you like what's for dinner? Like, you know what I mean? Cause like I lost my mom when I was real young, and like one of the brothers said here who lost their mom more recently, and parents, you always wonder if you get one more chance to say goodbye, if you had one more chance to say goodbye. So like every time we say goodbye, we say we love you. Every time we say hello, we hug each other. Because we don't know. And so we just say, I love you. And it's just like hello and goodbye, like pass the French fries.
So same thing for you, John, and Brother E. I love you, brother. What does that mean to you, John?
I think it means appreciation. I think in today's world, we're so busy. Everything takes our attention away. But when you say, I love you, brother, it means that you take the time to give back when you need to give back or someone needs you to give back. So it's appreciation.
Yeah, so when I hear the phrase "I love you, brother," that love is a verb, so it's an action word. So it means I'm doing something. The scriptures say that God is love. So we're talking about a creative force. We're talking about something it's a big deal. So if I say I love you, and then at the end of that say brother, well, that brother, that's family. That's establishing relationship. So it's like, yo, my actions towards you, I have a duty to you as a member of my family. I'm making a step, certain kind of activity, a creative force. We have to create something. So I owe you something. Like, yo, I love you. So therefore, we're going to create something together. Family member, my brother. So.
Wow. Let's stay with you with that, E, if we may. When did you first learn about this concept of love, and who taught you the concept of love?
Yeah, because we use the word a lot. I didn't know what love actually meant until my daughter was born. Right? Yeah, she's 30-something these days. So December 10th, 1993. I'm like looking at her like, yo, okay. So that's what this love, that's what this thing is. It's deeper than the affectionate thing I say to a woman because I like her a lot. You know what I'm saying? This is, yeah. Did I answer the question? Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's
so I want to lob the question over to you, Jovanny. Same question. When did you first learn about the concept of love, and who taught you the concept of love?
Mommy. You know what I'm saying? You know, the hugs, the kisses, the unfiltered showing of it. And then Papi with baseball. That's how we connected. Papi first showed me love for real, when he said, all right, you want to pitch? I'll be your batter. I hit him 17 times in the back. He stayed there. And that's how I discovered it.
Next question is for Octavius and Quincy. As men of color, have you ever shared with someone how you want to be loved? Who was that person, and what was their response to your request on, this is how I want to be loved?
No, I haven't. I haven't expressed that. No, that's a great question. Like, why are you saying this, Chad? Who told? Like, what are you doing? No, I really haven't. My mom and dad never told me. I can count on my hand how many times my mom and dad said that they loved me and my sister. But what they did was they showed it. They were super consistent. My mom came from a very broken home. Her dad left. She was the oldest of 6. Her mom was an alcoholic. My dad, his mom died when he was 14. His dad lived in Philly. They both lived in Ocean City, New Jersey. So they created a space of love for us, but they never said it. They just did it. They were there every night. They were at every basketball game, every football game. So for me, it was never about, I never expressed with words, hey, this is what I want. I just would show it in action because that's what I learned from my parents.
Wow, thank you.
That was deep. I had to bring it back, Chad.
What about you, Octavius?
Yeah, the woman sitting right there, my wife. So we've done the love languages and all that. I feel like I'm on a talk show. So we've done all that, but I think what I've done best is trying. I think the key word is trying to communicate how I want to be loved. Like, yes, I can be direct, but I think my wife figured out how to move that directness out of the way. He said, I hear you, but you ain't got to yell at me. Like, I hear you, but you don't have to say it so strong. So I think the one thing that I always said was, like, there's a difference between listening and hearing. And I think that's how I communicated. So,
yeah. No, I think it's very, when I was developing this question, it was very important for me because if we owed one another money, we would say, yo, where my money at, fam? If we were battling back and forth with ideology around who we think is the GOAT, some of us are going to say Michael Jordan, others are going to say LeBron, depending on what era you're from. But I think it's very important for us as men of color to really express it. I like to be held. When I'm faced with racial trauma or racial fatigue, which you just saw Gabe go down dapping every brother up, that's a form of love. When you heard Gabe say what he said about me, there's been some times where we both have had to share retching stories, working with young inner city black males. And so those hugs, the protection, the correction, the affection is really needed. The next question is for you. Wow, it was powerful of you sharing, your narrative as it relates to where you came from and where you're at. And so this kind of ties into that. I would love for you and for John to answer this question. The question is, what does love look like? And I'm not stereotyping here, but what does love look like for someone within your circle who may be battling with depression, forms of uncertainty, insecurity, or loss of any kind? Because what we heard here is loss. Those of you, when we come to you in the audience, thank you for being patient. All of us have experienced a form of loss. All of us have experienced a form of human brokenness. All of us have experienced a form of trauma. But if you and John can unpack that, and then we'll go to two more questions, and then we'll go to the audience. And once again, the question is, what does love look like for someone within your circle who may be battling with depression, a form of uncertainty or insecurity, or loss of any kind?
Sometimes it's just text messages. I have the experience of being, I was very young when my mother transitioned, and I kind of had to get through that a lot on my own because I wasn't stable, and my family was like, if you ain't taking your medicine, you got to get away from us. So I know what it's like to be alone. I know what it's like to feel like you got to figure it out by yourself. So there was times like, I don't know about y'all, but like back in 2020, it would be like 4-hour phone calls to my friend in Charlotte because she was living with a white person and couldn't leave the house. It's text messages to my other friend who just lost somebody. She said, I texted her for a whole month straight. I don't even remember texting her for a whole month straight. It's just showing up in the way that's appropriate for the situation. And you sometimes got to lose a little creativity, a little imagination. And sometimes it's just staying out the way. It just depends.
And John, same question for you. What does love look like for someone within your circle who may be battling, depression, insecurity, uncertainty, loss of a child, loss of a loved one? You mentioned here the attempts to, the historical gentrification, and then the attempts to further gentrify. So, just take us where you want us to go with that particular question, John. Unpack it for us.
Yeah, I think it's playing the role of a servant, right? What I mean by that is being selfless, reactionary. I mean, watching someone suffer is painful to watch, right? And I think we just have this desire to try to fix it, to eliminate the pain, but it doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't work that way. So I think we have to be observant, reactionary, because the people, the person, the community might need help in different ways at different times, right? So Chinatown, I tell the story of Chinatown facing so many battles. It's like our community is more valuable to those people with power and money, yet we've been here for over 150 years in Chinatown, right? So this community feeling as a perpetual foreigner is pretty painful for a lot of Asian Americans. So the Chinese were here building the railroads, mining gold in the Gold Mountains for almost no wages. The wages that the Chinese immigrant earned was paid back to the landowner or the company owner by buying supplies and materials, right? So when our labor became expendable in this country, they passed the Chinese Exclusion Act. And since that time, since we've been here, there's this idea of a perpetual foreigner, right? The Japanese internment camps, right? When you look at me, you see Asian, okay?
there's this false sense that people from Europe, right, are Americans. And so that's one form of community suffering. The individual suffering, I think, like was just said, is just being reactive to support the individual at any particular moment.
Okay. One last question for the panel, then we're coming to the audience. And this question is for E, Octavius, and Quincy. Be brief in your response, only because Danielle, who's our second boss, Jamie's our first, and Gabe is our ultimate. All of them are giving me like hand signals, right? So I need to stay on task. I'm a consultant. I do work for the PHRC, but baby need new shoes. Given the context, and we'll start with E, and then we'll go to Octavius, and then we'll go to Quincy. Given the context of social activism that many of you have engaged in, it's often been stated that love is a powerful social justice tool. Share an example of how love has been used to change a situation in your work. Gabe signed off on these questions when I put them together.
Good job, Gabe. You know what I'm saying? How has love? Oh, let's might get that real quick. I'm riff off what they do.
So let's
Quincy.
start with
Go ahead,
Octavius.
Quincy.
Given the context of social activism that many of you have engaged in, it's often been stated that love is a powerful social justice tool. Share an example of how love has been used to change a situation in your work.
So in the work that I do, obviously I lead EMOC, but also mentoring program and everything else with my mom. In all those things, I think being present and showing up is how I show my love. Because if you show up, nobody can take that from you. That's the main thing that I always try to do. I know if Gabe says, hey, can you make it to this event? I'll let you know. So when I say I'll let you know, that means I make it or I can't. But if I say I'll be there, I'll be there. And I think Jared, Steve, my mom, Rosalind, they all know that. If I say I'm coming, I'm coming. So that's the loyalty part.
Great. What about you, Q?
During the election season, I was connected to the Black Leadership Pack, and basically, I was hired to get the word out for for African Americans in the community. And basically, what they really wanted was, hey, I'm such and such from Southwest Philly, and I'm going to vote for fill in the blank. Well, I went to Southwest Philly, and I was talking to a couple of gentlemen, and they're like, yo, I'm not even going to vote. And they're like, look at our communities. I was on 54th and Cedar, and I never forget, I talked to like 4 guys, and they were like, yo, if it was anybody else, because I have this background in radio and TV, and you, when you do Black radio and TV, you have a sense of responsibility to the community. And sometimes I thought I was just doing work, but I was really helping and shifting people in a way. And sometimes you're thinking about all the things you have to go through. Fast forward, I'm there, 54th and Cedar. They like, Q, if it was anybody else, we wouldn't talk to you. And we wouldn't even give you the real. But I'm going to really tell you why we're not going to vote. And I'm going to really tell you and look at this community. And I was able to put that in a story and push it out. And although the PAC may have not have liked that message, because of the respect and love that we have for each other, I had to get it out to them. So I guess that's one example.
Wow. E.
Yeah, so for me, the centerpiece of my activism is art, because art is activism. And the main thing I try to achieve through my art is the relatability to other people, right? And the centerpiece of most of my art is my relationship with my wife. So, I love her out loud in our art. You know what I mean? Clap for that, goddammit. Clap for that. That's a beautiful thing. And, that's the centerpiece of what we do through the art. That's what we're kind of known for, and that's my main aspect of that.
Okay.
Good question, Gabe.
No, I said I wrote the questions and Gabe signed off.
Oh, okay. You signed off on that one?
It's both
Okay.
and. It's both and. Gabe modified them, right? But no, let's come to the audience, right? So we want the audience to feel free to ask questions of our panel, our panelists. Who wants to be the first person in this beloved community to ask them a question? So we have. Do we have a runner? You want to stand up and tell us? Ask your question up here. Oh, it was a woman behind you also. Yeah, let's have you go, and then we'll have the gentleman go too.
I'm probably embarrassing my son right here. But how can we as parents show our love to our young men, like our teenagers? Thank you.
Let's get a panelist to answer that question. How can we show? Can you repeat your question again, if you don't mind?
How can we as parents show our love to our young men,
Okay.
like
All right.
my son here?
Well,
Great.
I got to answer for that one. Oh, who? I mean, number one, you parent your children. You love your children. That's job one. Young men in particular, and men in general, we need to be listened to, right? That's the biggest thing. Asking the right questions and listening. And listen to what's not being said. When you're dealing with a young man, there's a lot of things that are not being said. He's like, are you good? I'm fine, Mom. I'm good. But you got to listen to the nuances. Listen and ask questions. That's what I was saying.
Great. We'll come over here, but we had a young lady here. Yes.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. My name is Pamela Mack Jr. I definitely came on the Q show when it first aired on Fox 29. As a nonprofit owner in the city of Philadelphia, we definitely need more panel talks like this. And out of wanting to know, as far as young men, I've raised 8 children of my own and adopted 4. Because the city not only needs fathers and mothers, but to know that there are a lot of young men that don't get hugs, to know there are a lot of young men that are never told that I love you, but the downplaying of. To give more love, to give more hugs, because I actually said I was going to start a protest at City Hall, like, hey, we need more hugs in Philly, and just hugging people, like, on that type time. But for young men coming up in the city of Philadelphia, we need to talk more to them. We need to be able to have more open discussions like this, and we also need to do more hugging and loving. That's what I'm going to say.
Thank you so much.
Right here. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Eric Marsh of the Fathering Circle. First, can we put our hands together for these brothers again? You guys have done a phenomenal job. I'm barely holding it together. John, look at John. Octavius already know. We already cry it out all the time. And E, I'm telling you, I almost wore my Hustler Culture shirt tonight. I'm telling you, we go back, brother. My question, because I know Gabe about to jump out his skin. My question is, for those of you, right, telling stories and getting up in front of a crowd is not easy. And it is often antithetical to what we are taught as men, right, to be stoic and to close. So I want to know, just for those of you who can answer briefly, what was your process like to be able to write these stories and to be able to get up in front of this audience and be open and transparent?
For me, my process, obviously, we've had Jamie, David, who helped us out. For lack of better words, it's the job that I have right now and the job that I had before that job built that letter. But then it's also my wife who built that letter. But this has been on my mind for a very long time. Like I said, I've been quiet. So this just opened up the door to say, you know what, you need to speak up. So in that process of writing this letter, I was crying. Like I've told Gabe, I've told Pam, I'm overwhelmed. They asked me why. I was like, I just wrote this letter. And Pam always said, you need to make sure you're okay. and she checks in with me. Gabe does the same thing. So in that process of understanding that cracked open, I had to crack myself open in order for me to speak up. So thank you for that question, brother.
We have a gentleman over here, and then we have a gentleman at the very top, and maybe one more question because we're almost coming to an end. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to all of you kings for definitely sharing your story, sharing a piece of who you are, and really being open for us on full display tonight. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So my question is, you know what, I see a lot of kings like they're showing love to others, right? More and more showing more love, right? My question is, what does your self-love look like?
I can take if it's okay. For me, it's spending time doing mindfulness, developing earnest friendships. It's self-care. It's, you know, I don't have any hair, but I still go to the barbershop because the barbershop is a very therapeutic place. It's going to the gym, though my game is not as it used to be. It's spending time with my wife. It's listening to music. Maker's Mark. It's a cigar down at Ashton's. It's a cigar, several cigars at Cigar Cove. This new habit, which is DraftKings. You know, placing bets.
You got a lot going.
But no, really, it's really about, you know, getting away, establishing hobbies. With the work that all of us do, I think it's important to take PTO, pay time off. A lot of us are blessed to have health insurance, but you know, you don't want to just continue to work and then you die in the job because your family, you have life insurance. Your family gonna mourn you, but they gonna spend that life insurance policy. So for me, it's interacting with brothers. And what I've learned over the past 15 years, and Pam knows because we go to the same church, Triumph Baptist Church, it's really hugging. It's really hugging and telling brothers, you know, how I feel. It's not that, how you doing, Brother Chad? I'm blessed by the best, too blessed to be stressed. No, how you doing, Brother Chad? I'm in pain. My mom has Parkinson's. My mom is experiencing an early set of dementia. My mom is wearing a diaper. I'm hurting. And so it's really just being authentic, being organic, being fluid. But that's like, for me, that's self-care. Maybe, you know, he didn't know that this was coming, but Gabe, if you can answer that question, Gabe, because you do a phenomenal job with self-care, but you're also not, you have multiple identities, if you don't mind. You don't just run EMOC, but activism, prison abolitionist. You're all over the country. And so I think, to your question, brother, and thank you for that question, because I think it's very important for us to kind of share some kind of best practices. I know that we're limited on time. I got some money on me if we have to pay for an extra hour or so. You know, I think that this is kind of like in the moment, and I don't think anyone here is ready to leave. They're kind of wrapped around what we're kind of saying. And we probably want to hear from a few more people, only if we can, Danielle and Jamie. But I would love for Gabe to kind of answer that question. I know we got 5 minutes, but she said that 5 minutes ago.
Come on, Gabe.
This is their show, y'all, not me. But I'll answer the question. I take a lot of naps, y'all, I'm gonna be honest. Naps have saved my life. I'm just being totally honest. I began a therapeutic practice, therapy. I've had multiple therapists over the years. And I always tell people, you know, therapy is like, you know, you want to get that new pair of sneakers, that new pair of kicks, and, you know, you might have an idea about what those sneakers you want, and you might have an idea, I'm going to get these new J's, and you go to the store, and you try them on, and they're like, man, these niggas ain't fitting right. You put the second one on, still don't fit right, but you came to the store to get those particular ones. Then you look in the mirror, it's like, man, these things make my feet look all crazy and big and jumpy. And then out of the corner of your eye, you see another pair of sneakers. It's like, oh, wow. I didn't come here for those. Let me try them on. And I would try those on, or you would try them on perhaps, and you're like, wow, these make my feet feel comfortable. You know, you look in the mirror, they fit well. And that's been my journey with therapy. sometimes I came looking for a particular therapist that looked a certain kind of way, that acted a certain kind of way, that appeared to me to fit me a certain kind of way. Until I realized that, wow, if I gave something else a chance, actually would fit me better. And so that practice, that process of sort of opening myself up to exposure and opportunity and chance, I think has really allowed me to find my own sense of growth in that space. So thank you for the question.
Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and turn it over to Jamie for last remarks, but I want to leave us with two quotes by Dr. Martin Luther King that I think are so appropriate around the concept of love. Dr. King said, "Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into friend." And Dr. King also said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." In these times that we're in, may we hold on to this concept of love. It's not touchy-feely, it's not tiptoe through the tulips, it's not we shall overcome, it's not kumbaya, it's transformative. We should love everyone on every side of the color line, on every side of the gender line, how people describe who they are. We should push back against forms of xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, anti-Black racism. We should make sure that we establish in our young people, for the woman that asked the question about your teenage son, we should be establishing in our homes a moral compass, a moral imperative, and lastly, a moral reimagination to reimagine the society differently from the way it currently is and to hold on to love because we reclaimed it tonight, but we also need to make sure that we teach others how to reclaim it, how to name it, and how to embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And as we officially close, first of all, we want to thank you all. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. With all seriousness, seeing this room full of you all, some are friends and many of you all are strangers, but it makes the room complete. And we really thank you. I want to thank all of our storytellers, again, once again, for their time, for their courage, their bravery, the transparency, our moderator, Chad Lassiter. I want to thank the entire team from DBHIDS and First Person Arts, Valuable Partnership, Jamie Brunson, Danielle Marino, Chris up top, David Acosta, even the team outside that you saw, Rhonda Rise and several others outside in the hallway, those manning the tables. On your way out, we do have materials for you that you can take home about resources. We always say also, everybody say 988. 988. 988. 988. So many of us know 911. 988 was launched about 3 years ago. It's a 24/7, right, crisis line, mental health crisis line. If any of you are find yourselves ever in a mental health condition, an issue, an episode for yourself or your loved one, please dial, text, call 988, and you can get all the information that you need right there in that moment. Once again, 24/7. And I'll close by saying this: the journey to reclaim love, I know for me began, watching my parents, do what they had to do to raise 5 boys in the project when everything was up against them, and they had to do what they could to try to save us, even if it meant that they had to separate from us, even if it meant that they had to leave us. They did all that they did to keep us safe. And one of the things that I learned that's so powerful, if anything you learned today from my voice, is that when it comes to the love piece, the question and the key criterion is safety. Can I be safe with you? Do you make me safe? Can I be my best self with you? It all results to a space and a language of safety. So make sure that you're understanding that, but also pointing that out to the folks who are with you as well.